This is Peter's warning about visions and dreams. From the Sermons of Peter, Book 17, Chapter 15. And Simon said, "For it seems to me impossible that impious men should receive dreams from Yahuwah in any way whatsoever." Peter answers, "We know that there are many who worship idols, commit adultery, and sin in every way, and yet they see true visions and dreams, and some of them also have apparitions of demons. For I maintain that the eyes of the mortals cannot see the incorporeal form of the Father or the Son, because of it's illumined by exceedingly great light. For he who sees Yahuwah cannot live, for the excess of light dissolves the flesh of him who sees, unless by the secret power of Yahuwah the flesh is changed into the nature of light, so that it can see the light, or the substance of light be changed into flesh, so that it can be seen by the flesh. For the power of the Father without undergoing any change belongs to the Son alone. But the just shall also in like manner behold Yahuwah, for in the resurrection of the dead, when they have become changed, as far as their bodies are concerned, into the light, and become like the angels, they shall be able to see him. Finally then, if any angel be sent that he may be seen by a man, he is changed into flesh, that he may be able to be seen by flesh. For no one can see the incorporeal power not only of the Son, but not even of an angel. But if one sees an apparition, he should know that this is an apparition of an evil demon. But it is manifest that the impious see true visions and dreams, and I can prove it from Scripture. First, it is written in the law how Abimelech, who was impious, wished to defile the wife of just Abraham by intercourse, and how he heard the commandment of Yahuwah in his sleep, as Scripture says, not to touch her, because she was dwelling with her husband. Pharaoh, also an impious man, saw a dream in regard to the fullness and thinness of the ears of corn, to whom Joseph said when he gave the interpretation that the dream had come from Yahuwah. Nebuchadnezzar, who worshipped images and ordered those who worshipped Yahuwah to be cast in the fire, saw a dream extending over the whole length of the age. And let no one say, no one who is impious sees a vision when awake. That is false. Nebuchadnezzar himself, having ordained 3 men to be cast into fire, saw a fourth when he looked into the furnace, and said, I see the fourth as the son of Yahuwah. Nevertheless, though they saw apparitions, visions, and dreams, they were impious. Thus, we cannot infer without absolute certainty that the man who has seen visions and dreams and apparitions is undoubtedly pious. For in the case of the pious man, the truth gushes up natural and pure in his mind, not worked up through dreams, but granted to the good through intelligence. Peter then says, Thus to me was the Son revealed by the Father. Wherefore I know what the meaning of revelation, having learned it in my own case. For at the very time when the Master said, Who do they say I am? And when I heard one saying one thing of him, and another, it came into my heart to say, You are the Son of the living Yahuwah. But he pronounced me blessed, pointed out to me that it was the Father who had revealed it to me. And from this time I learned that revelation is knowledge gained without instruction, and without apparitions and dreams, and this is indeed the case. For in the Spirit which has been placed in us from Yahuwah there is all the truth. But it is covered and revealed by the hand of Yahuwah, who knowing the merit of each man, does to him according to it. But the declaration of anything by means of apparitions and dreams from without is a proof, not that it comes from revelation, but from wrath. Finally, then it is written in the law of Yahuwah, being angry, said to Aaron and Miriam, If a prophet arises amongst you, I shall make myself known to him through visions and dreams. But not so as to my servant Moses, because I shall speak to him in an outward appearance, and not through dreams, just as one will speak to his own friend. You see how the statements of wrath are made through visions and dreams, but the statements to a friend are made face to face in outward appearance, and not through riddles and visions and dreams as to an enemy. Now this is the part where Peter completely destroys Paul's visions and dreams of Messiah. If then Our Yahusha appeared to you in a vision, made himself known to you, and spoke to you. It was as one who was enraged with an adversary. And this is the reason why it was through visions and dreams and through revelations that were from without that he spoke to you. But can anyone be rendered fit for instruction through apparitions? And if you say it is possible, then I ask, why did our teacher abide and discourse a whole year to those who were awake? And how are we to believe your word when you tell us that he appeared to you? And how did he appear to you? When you entertain opinions contrary to his teachings. But if you were seen and taught by him and became his apostle for a single hour, proclaim his utterances, interpret his sayings, love his apostles, contend not with me, who companied with him, for in direct opposition to me, who am a rock, the foundation of the church, you now stand. If you were not opposed to me, you would not accuse me and revile the truth proclaimed by me, in order that I may not be believed when I state what I myself heard with my own ears from the master, as if I were evidently a person that was condemned and a bad repute. But if you say I am condemned, you bring an accusation against Yahuwah who revealed Messiah to me, and you inveigh against him who pronounced me Barak, blessed, on account of this revelation. But indeed, if you really wish to work in the cause of truth, learn first of all from us what we have learned from him, and become a disciple of the truth. Become a fellow worker with us. Okay, so let's go over this last chapter and see how it completely relates to Paul. Peter is arguing with Simon Magnus, saying that you can't be taught through vision and dreams because Yahuwah only speaks to people through vision and dreams when he's enraged with them, like with Nebuchadnezzar and Pharaoh, but instead would come down face to face with them like he did with Moses. And then Peter asks, if he did learn through a vision or dream, then why did he come down face to face with the 12 apostles and teach them? And then if you think about Paul's vision and dreams, they don't add up. I'll show you. In Acts chapter 9 verse 7, he says, and the men who journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no one. But then in Acts 22:9, he says that they indeed saw the light and were afraid, but they did not hear the voice who spoke to them. Those stories don't add up. First off, who are the witnesses and why aren't they named? That seems like a very, very important thing to have named, especially throughout the whole Bible. There's witnesses named in almost every story. But let me take this a step further, because in Acts 9 it says that the men stood with him watching, and then in Acts 26 he says that the men fell on the ground with him, but doesn't say that they seen him or heard him. Which one was it? Messiah said, if somebody says that they see me in the desert, do not believe them. Or if they said they seen him in the inner rooms, not to believe them. But what do you know? Paul seen him on the road to Damascus, in the desert, and the inner rooms of the temple. Peter then goes on to ask, how are we supposed to believe your word when you say that he appeared to you? And how can he appear to you when you teach contrary to our Messiah? Paul says it's okay to eat meat sacrificed to idols because idols are nothing, but then proceeds to say that it's okay to eat meat sacrificed to idols as long as you don't know it's sacrificed to idols. So just don't ask any questions for the conscience sake. But let's go see what Messiah has to say about people who are eating meat sacrificed to idols in Revelation chapter 2. Verse 14, but I have yet a few things against you, because you have there those who hold the doctrine of Baal, who taught Balak to put the stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed to idols. He then doubles down again in verse 20. Nevertheless, I have a few things against you, because you allowed that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophetess, Paul calls himself a prophet, to teach and seduce my servants to commit sexual immorality and eat things sacrificed to idols. Seems to me that Messiah believes idols are real and not to eat the meat sacrificed to them. Peter then goes on to say, if you were taught by Messiah and you did become his apostle for even a single hour, proclaim his utterances. and to interpret his sayings. Paul never once quotes Messiah in all 14 epistles, and he never expands on any of his teachings. Love his apostles, and contend not with me who accompanied with him. For in direct opposition to me, who am a firm rock, in the church you now stand. Paul withstood and fought with Peter in chapter 2 of Galatians. He said that the 12 seemed to be pillars, right after saying in Galatians 6, but from those who seem to be something, whatever they were, it makes no difference to me, because Yahuwah shows no personal favoritism to no man. For those who seem to be something added nothing to me. I mean, seriously, people, how can you guys not see this guy's arrogance? Peter then goes on to say, but indeed, if you really wish to work in the cause of truth, learn first of all from us and what we've learned from him, and becoming a disciple of truth. I mean, we just read that he said, whatever they were means nothing to me because they added nothing to me. And he says multiple times that he didn't get the teaching from man, he got it from visions. Paul is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And just because he mixes lies with some praise does not make him a true apostle. In Galatians chapter 1 verses 2 through 9, he literally gives praise to Yahuwah while cursing man. And I would also add that this other gospel that he's talking about is the gospel that the 12 apostles were teaching the nations. And James responds to that verse in chapter 3 verses 8 through 10. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless Yahuwah, and with it we curse men, who have been made in the similitude of Yahuwah. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessings and cursings. My brother, this ought not be so. You guys just need to test all spirits and don't be deceived. Your salvation depends on it.
Yahuwah in the chat bring he drop room Yahuwah.